go ahead and start. You already addressed polls, so you're not concerned at all that you've been down by double digits in the polls in the last couple of weeks?
The Marquette poll has been all over the map, and it didn't predict that Donald Trump would win or that Ron Johnson would win. It had me down at 1.30 in a primary, and I won by almost 7. And then it had me neck and neck with Senator Baldwin shortly thereafter. So, I really follow what I feel and sense on the ground, and there's been a movement and excitement, and that's the most important poll, and that'll be what happens tomorrow.
You talked a lot about kind of your experience on the campaign trail, all the places you've been. Can you talk a little bit about what that's been like, what it's been like to travel the state?
It's been amazing. We have a beautiful state, and when you represent one small corner of it, you don't really get the full perspective of just the hardworking people and how much issues are so important to them. And I've highlighted the issues that I've heard overwhelmingly from people over and over again from the beginning of the campaign: immigration reform, healthcare reform, and continuing to improve this economy with jobs and tax reform. So the people have opened up their hearts and they've opened up their minds and have filled me in on what's important to them, and I think they recognize that I am somebody who understands middle class needs as a middle class mom myself, middle class struggles that we're all facing. I think they want a voice in Washington who will follow through and be that representation. Tammy Baldwin's lost that. She doesn't spend as much time in Wisconsin. She's come back now as the final push for a campaign and is trying to make her way around the state. But I think people see through that, and they know that she is more interested in what happens in the swamp of D.C. than she is what's happening here in Wisconsin.
Leah, Vukmir, let's say you do win the election tomorrow. What will be the first thing that you do to try to bridge the state together?
Well, I think it's continuing with providing people with more prosperity of their own. The principles that have moved our state and our country forward are making a difference, and just continuing to provide that certainty for individuals in their homes, for business leaders, so they can continue to grow their jobs and create more jobs as they grow their businesses. So I think that's the important message. Let's talk about the results, how it's affecting us in our pocketbook. Healthcare reform is a big one as a nurse, and I want to make sure we're moving in a direction that protects Medicare and Medicaid. Make no mistake about it, I stand for protecting people with pre-existing conditions, and I want to do it without destroying Medicare or Medicare Advantage like Tammy Baldwin does, or I want to do it without throwing 3.4 million people off of their private insurance, employer insurance, as Tammy Baldwin does in her plan. And I think that's what's really at stake, and that's the direction I want to move our state and country.
So looking at the things that you've been talking about with people as you've been going across the state, what are the most important issues that you've seen, and what are some of the signs that you've seen that the president's plan is working, that we are on a comeback?
Well, when you look at a GDP of 4.1% and you look at the record unemployment rates among all people across this country, but especially minorities and women, that's one sign on the national level. At the state level, we've had 8 months of below 3% unemployment. We have taken, and that was coming from 9.3% 8 years ago. We've provided $8 billion in tax relief. People are seeing the effects in their pocketbook. It is churning the economy both at the state and the national level. So that's one issue that people have talked about. The others, as I mentioned earlier, are immigration reform. What's happening right now at our border is very concerning to people all the way up here in Wisconsin. And I've had many people say, why in the world do people in Wisconsin care about immigration reform? They do, because they perceive that individuals are coming across our borders and participating in the experience of being an American and acting as if they're American citizens without going through the process and the responsibility of becoming an American citizen, and that rubs people wrong. And Tammy Baldwin supports just the opposite. She's okay with open borders, sanctuary cities, abolishing ICE. I'm not, and I want to stand with the president on making sure that we secure our border.
Okay, guys, that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.